Hi all, welcome back to the final whistle for another match preview. It's been a while since we've been on here, hasn't it? We've put a few shorts out during the international break, but we're back doing the live shows now. Big game this weekend. The return of a certain manager, Mr. Enzo Maresca, returns to the King Power Stadium for the first time since leaving Leicester City for Chelsea. Dewsbury Hall also returns as well. Will we see him this weekend? And we're going to chat with the Chelsea boys ahead of this one, and others return as well, like Wesley Fofana. Ben Chilwell, if he's still around Chelsea as well. I know there's a bit of one of them there with Enzo regarding Ben Chilwell not playing, but we'll see what happens when I chat with the lads. Guys, as always, get involved. Hit that like button for me if you enjoyed the stream. Subscribe if you haven't already and you're new, then please get down and do so. Let's see who's in before I start. Hi, Ty, how are you, mate? Callum, how are you? Hope you're good. Afternoon, Jack. Any chance the game gets snowed off? I don't think we can hope. I'm in Leicester at the minute. It's bloody sunny. I know this in some rain on Saturday. I'm not a bloody weatherman, but nothing to look forward to at all. Yeah, it's a bit of doom and gloom at the minute if we look at it regarding Leicester at the minute. Wondering if Liverpool tickets will come to Fox members. I'm not sure on that one. I am not sure, but oh, there we go. I'm back. Right, let's get the boys in. I've got Charlie from Blue Brothers. Charlie, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Good, mate. Pleasure to be here as always.
Very good, mate. And I've got Kev from Chelsea Fan TV. Kev, how are you, mate?
All good, brother. Thank you. All good. Thank you. Nice one for the invitation. It's good to be on.
Can we forfeit like on FIFA? Take a 3-0 loss. Would rather clean my mum's house. Well, I don't think we can forfeit any game. Unless we've not got enough players to play. But boys, how are we? Big game against Leicester on Saturday. The return of your manager Enzo Maresca to the King Power Stadium. Charlie, let everybody know where they can find you, mate, before we kick off the match preview.
Yeah, literally, mate. Find me Blueborough LCFC. That's my personal channel, and you can also find me on Chelsea Fan TV as well.
Kev?
No personal content yet. It's in the pipeline, so you find me solely on Chelsea Fan TV, doing a lot of content on there. So, yeah, that's where we are.
Appreciate that. So, boys, Leicester versus Chelsea. It's been a while, hasn't it? Before we go on to that game, let's talk about your season under Enzo Maresca. Charlie, we'll kick off with you. Enzo left Leicester, even though he said he'd stay at Leicester. He did say that he'd stay. He then got a big offer from Chelsea, which he didn't turn down. Some say he jumped ship. But talk to me about how things have gone under Enzo Maresca. I mean, new manager, new style of football, and Enzo's cut the squad from 42 players down to 21 players. I mean, talk to me how you've done this season under Enzo and where you are in the table.
Yeah, mate, he's done a good job. I think he's done a lot better than any of us would have expected. He's come in. You can already see straight away there's a style of play, there's an identity. Whilst there's obviously still a lot of improvements to be made in the team, or we can get much better, he's made an impact very quickly. Players are buying into his ideas. Players enjoy his training session. Seems to be a good buzz around the place. We've been playing some decent football. And really, you know, there's not too many things to complain about. We're sitting third right now. Yes, the table's very congested. We're only 4 points above 13th and whatnot. But, you know, I think every Chelsea fan would have taken this position come the middle of November, heading into these Christmas fixtures. I think the only thing that you could say is a little bit disappointing is that we've not managed to get a statement win yet against the big sides. We didn't beat City, we didn't beat Liverpool, and we didn't beat United or Arsenal. That for me would be the only slight down on the season, is that we haven't quite managed to get a big win across the line yet. But everything else I think is pretty good. A lot of players have improved under the gaffer, and you can tell that we're heading in the right direction. So I think we've got to be pretty happy with how things have been so far.
Kev, Enzo?
Happy. It's one word, happy. Like I never had thought that we'd be third place leading up to this Christmas period, and it was exactly where we want to be, in and around the big boys. And I feel like some results have gone against us. I think a couple of goalkeeping errors, Sanchez cost us a few points. We would have been further up table. We could have been second, if it wasn't for some errors. But the only disappointing thing for me is that the cup defeat at Newcastle a couple of weeks ago, I feel like it's completely wrong. I feel like if he had a better winning mentality, let's say, we would have gone there with a better team and gone there to win. Obviously, got it completely wrong. Also, another negative, I think, with him starting Sanchez all the time, it's not good. I feel like he needs to nip this in the bud now. We all know that he's losing his points game in, game out. I think he needs to drop him, start Jorgensen, and not be so stubborn, because we could have been further at the pack if we started another keeper. So, a couple of negatives, but all in all, man, like 9 out of 10. Like the style of football's better, defensive discipline's better. There's a happiness, there's a buzz, enthusiasm. He's brought it all back, and so soon, after 3 months, he's completely changed it around from what we've seen at the end of last season with Poch. So, all credit to him.
Yeah, he changed a bit at Leicester. Let's be honest, when he came in, Enzo Maresca last season, he brought that relationship back between the club and the fans, that real buzz between the players and the supporters, that real good relationship. He came in, did his job, as he should have last season, got us back up to the Premier League with the first time of asking. Some enjoyed his football, some probably not. But yeah, I think Enzo, for me at Leicester, he always one who wasn't scared to voice his opinion. And I think he's done that a bit at Chelsea at the start, where they've asked him certain questions and he's been honest about it. We're honest about the but with the board not telling him certain things at Leicester, he voiced his concerns on that. He did everything which you'd expect from a manager. Some managers don't like to rumble certain things, they'll just leave it be. But he was just, I think Enzo were more, for me, very hands-on off the pitch with what he was speaking about regarding not being told things and that, to then on the pitch with his football and that. He knew what he wanted from the start, and he wanted to be successful. Some fans would probably be fuming with, he did say he wanted to be with the plan at Leicester for 5 to 6 years, and then you kind of win the championship, and then you think happy summer. Enzo staying after talks with the ownership, and then Chelsea come calling with De Zerbi and Enzo. I think Thomas Frank were in there as well, wasn't he, Charlie, for the manager's job? And then
Almiron as well. It was linked to Man United's manager as well.
What was kind of your initial thoughts on the appointment? I mean, some would say never even proved himself in the Premier League, Championship manager. I mean, obviously the school of Pep is what everyone talks about, but what was your initial feelings with the Enzo appointment itself?
It was a surprise, wasn't it, Kev? Like, I don't think any of us expected it. He was not on anyone's radar, certainly fan-wise, of who the next manager should be. But I think it goes to show that you probably shouldn't judge people based on their CVs. I think you're seeing a lot of bigger clubs now not placing as much significance on the CV and a previous track record. You see the likes of Vincent Kompany getting a job at Bayern Munich, Enzo Maresca getting a Chelsea job. Like, in years gone by, those guys would never be in conversations for big jobs. But I think it goes to show how the landscape is changing a little bit. But I think we have to admit it was a surprise. We've taken a massive gamble. It started well so far, but there's still a long, long way to go before we can even start talking about Enzo Maresca being a success at Chelsea. But he started in the right way, but a definite surprise for sure.
Completely, what's the word I'm looking for? Completely got me. Completely, I was completely wrong about the appointment. I was so against the appointment. I was like, let's get an experienced manager in. That's one thing. And I just can't get over because I've been watching football so long and I've seen managers come through like Joel says, Ancelotti's. I'm still stuck in that era, and I've got to realise now that times are changing. There's new managers. There's a new bulk of managers coming through like Almirons and De Zerbi's, and I never knew anything about Enzo. All I knew was he worked with City, with City under-21s. He'd done successful stuff there, and I knew that he had a good season with Leicester. And I was like, no way, I don't want this Enzo guy. And straight away, pre-season, we could see straight away, we could see his style of football, the impact. And this is the good thing with good managers. It doesn't take them long for them to embed their tactics. And through pre-season, we've seen it, and it's continued into the season. And like I said, he's worked magic of us. So fair play to the board members for making the right decision, because me and Charlie and a lot of Chelsea fans who was like, nah, don't bring him in. But the board have obviously done the homework on him and they've got it right.
Yeah, Total Football Stars never said he was staying. He just said he won't leave the Premier League when he did give some reassurance to the owner, though. He did say that in John Percy's article in the Telegraph when he had talks. It did say it gave some reassurance to the owner that he'd want to build ahead of next season. Chelsea come in, you're thinking big club. Obviously, you go there with a bit of not a bit of reassurance, with the amount of managers you've had and, the build of the club and not giving managers time. You've seen it with Potter, you've seen it with other managers that have not really gave them time. You're not certain to stay in a job for a long period at Chelsea in the time that Enzo took over. But the wages situation, you could have said, yeah, no one's going to turn that down as a manager under Charlie, to be fair. I mean, if you stay in a job like you do and you're getting paid probably double, triple money for the same role that you're doing, you're going to snap your hand off and take it, aren't you?
Yeah, I think it's very difficult to criticise a manager for taking a role at a big club. You got short careers. You don't know if those teams will ever come knocking for you again. You don't know when your stock's going to be that high again. So as much as it's frustrating for Leicester fans and fans of clubs of a similar size, the reality is that if managers do well at these slightly smaller clubs, then the reality is that bigger teams will come calling, and it's only natural to want to prove yourself at the highest level and manage the biggest and best teams and compete at the top of one of the best leagues in the Premier League. So I don't think you can begrudge him for leaving. Yes, it's obviously frustrating that he was only there for one season and whatnot, but you can understand it. You can understand it with players. You can understand it with managers. Everyone wants to test themselves at the highest level. So I can't blame him for moving on, and I wouldn't blame anyone for moving on in a similar position.
I think it comes as a real surprise. I think
it probably caught Leicester out, didn't it? I think it probably caught you guys out a little bit. I don't think you would have expected Enzo to have left, to have been poached so quickly.
We were surprised, to say the least.
Yeah, it wasn't the right time, wasn't it? Really, for Leicester to get rid of such a highly rated manager. And now you've been left to Cooper. And it's completely changed the style of football. You've gone from a structured play at the back football with your midfielders, with Jude Hall carrying the ball. Now you've lost your best player and you've lost a manager. Now it's totally changed with Cooper. So it's very, what's the word I'm looking for? Disappointing for Leicester, let's say.
It is.
For you to do it, but at the same time, I feel like you staying up is more important than you losing Enzo. Okay, you still got a good squad. I think you retained the majority of your good players when you went down to Championship, and you've kind of built on it coming back up. So it doesn't really matter what manager you've got. As long as you stop up, that's the most important thing. And I'm sure a lot of Leicester fans will be singing the same thing.
Yeah, bloody Leicester fans didn't even want Steve Cooper to start off with. Let's be honest.
Obviously, Nottingham. It's not Nottingham, innit? That's right. Forest.
I don't even think it's that. I just don't think Steve Cooper is that man.
His style of football. You know what I mean? His style of football, it's totally different to Enzo. It's more direct, isn't it? Very direct.
Low block football.
Direct. It's direct. I've been to plenty of games. I went to Forest and Chelsea 3 times in play. And he had that Timo Anawihi, Nigerian striker for Nottingham.
1 year.
Yeah. And all the time it's hitting him and down the flank, hitting him. So I can imagine it being the same with Vardy. Is that what you're trying to do? Get him in the channels. It's not that play at the back football now. I bet he's just hitting the flanks all the time now. So
I agree with what Ant said on his stream. The anger should be at the board for replacing Enzo with Cooper, not Enzo for taking the opportunity. Yeah, and that's the thing, you know. It's like Total Football says, we've gone from a Ferrari with Enzo for a rundown Fiesta with a flat tire with cautious Cooper. Yeah, I mean, no one expected that. I mean, when Enzo left, you've always got to get that type of manager, aren't you, Charlie, with that blueprint, the same style of manager to really, with the players happy with how Enzo played last season, to that relationship they had with him, the understanding they had with the football. You've got to replace it with the same style, haven't you? You can't go somewhere different and long where you're thinking, yeah, this ain't it. You've got to always go for that same blueprint, haven't you? You can't always go and beat around the bush with it and get a manager in where the football's not even what the football is suited to be.
Yeah, I think it, from a Leicester perspective, like the Cooper appointment screams of two things. One, that the club went for a cheap option because he was free and he didn't cost anything, no compensation. The second thing also screams of, we've got no idea what we're doing here. We've got no idea what style of play that we want to play. We've got no idea what
there's no contingency plan either with it.
Yeah, there was obviously no contingency plan for it, and they were caught unaware. And you can sort of understand that, because you wouldn't expect a manager to leave so after just one season, caught unawares. But it just screams of, we don't know, we've got no idea. We've literally gone from one way of playing under Maresca, clear idea, playing out from the back and whatnot, heavy possession-based style of football, and he did a complete 180 with Steve Cooper. And you're sort of thinking, well, how do Leicester want to play? What do they want to do? Let's employ a manager that plays the way we want to play. Instead, they've just done a complete 360, and you can guarantee the next manager that comes in after Cooper, because Cooper at best will be gone in the summer, in my opinion, then they probably get someone else that comes in totally different from what Steve Cooper was doing. So for me, Leicester need to sit down and decide, right, what do we want to be as a football club? How do we want to play? And let's employ a manager that plays that style of football. Because right now, they've just done a complete 360, and it just looks like they've got no idea what they actually want to be as a football club.
Yeah, and he even said it himself, no contingency plan. You've got to have a plan. If Enzo was ever to leave the football club for someone else, you've always got to have that eye of the getting that same manager in and knowing what your plan's going to be moving forward. I think with Cooper, some would call it a panic appointment, you know, because of the PSR situation and that we need a manager, we're desperate. And then you've talked to Graham Potter. Potter wanted to know different things about Leicester. He wanted questions asking, and he did, and he said, "I'll think about it." But then they've kind of reverted, where some would say Potter were close to joining Leicester, agreeing everything, and then all of a sudden they've took a 160 turn. And there's Steve Cooper. Oh, I want the job. I'm kind of desperate to get back into football. And they've gone with Steve Cooper, and you're thinking, what we could have had with Graham Potter over Steve Cooper, I think you'd rather took.
He literally took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say Potter. I never even knew he got linked to him. I think he'd be a brilliant manager for you. I think his style of football. I think at the time when he was at Chelsea, there was a lot of players transitioning in and out. He had too much players, a lot of pressure. I think a team like Leicester, it'd be a bit like similar to Brighton, somewhere where he can stamp his authority. There's no pressure at all. He can play his football. You know, Potter would have been very ideal for you. I think with Cooper, when the back end of his Nottingham career, it didn't end well at Nottingham, and I think he rushed into it. He completely rushed into it. 15th place at the moment, could have been a lot worse, but I feel like you need to stop picking the points. You know, I feel like that result against Man U, 3-0, wasn't it? 3-0 against Man U last game. Awful game.
We're not going to talk about that performance.
Yeah. So, but I think, I think you look at it, right, and you could. I know there's no such thing really as a long-term appointment, because you never know what clubs will come in for what managers at what point. But you look at Cooper, and you can just tell from the off, that's not a long-term appointment. You know, I know you can't guarantee any long-term appointments, but that's not an appointment you make for someone to take the club through the next 2 or 3 years or whatever. That's not someone that you'd want in place to, if you go down, to take you back up from the Championship. But he just isn't that guy. So straight from the bat, you've made an appointment for a manager who is not long term in the slightest.
I agree. I thought it was kind of rushed. We were desperate in it after Enzo left, because Enzo left us by surprise, and we're thinking, yeah, we've got to get a manager. We've got to get a manager in there. Steve Cooper, desperate and wanting to get back into football, and yeah, Leicester fans haven't took Steve Cooper from the off. If I'm honest, Charlie, and if you ask Leicester fans about Steve Cooper, the majority would say, yeah, he's not what we wanted. I mean, you're a promoted side. You're not a relegated side where your manager's left and you need to get someone else in. When you're promoted, you want to push on as a club in it and stay in the Premier League and make yourself a Premier League club again. And from the first season, I think with Steve Cooper, it was always, weren't the most exciting appointment, was it? Let's be fair. I mean, if Chelsea appointed Steve Cooper, you'd probably say same thing. Who's this guy? What's this guy? With Steve Cooper, for me, and I'll be honest with you, the guy doesn't have an identity. I just don't think he has a plan. He don't know his starting 11, and he's a frustrating guy. I know he's won Bournemouth and Southampton, and that feels like it papers over the cracks a bit with me, but I did say I'd back him at the start of the season. I did, but I just can't see what he wants to do. What is the plan going forward? Because we've got a run of 10 games now where you play Chelsea, you got Brighton, you got Man City, you got Liverpool, you got Brentford, Newcastle's in there, Wolves, West Ham, and teams like that. And you're thinking, where are the points going to come from?
You could find yourself, like, I'll not say bottom of the table, but you could find yourself 18th, 19th easily after the next 3 or 4 games.
Look at how Forest have improved since Cooper's left. This is the thing. Forest have improved since Nuno's took over.
And they ain't got that many. There's not that many different. There's a few different players there, but it's largely the same squad, and he's got a lot more out of them. You do have to be given time in football. Of course you do, and things do take time, but I think you can just tell from the off, like some of the results that Leicester are picking up are very much, they're like last minute winners. Their team's going down to 10 men. That over a course of a season, you can't rely on last minute winners and other teams going down to 10 and not playing well to get enough points to stay up. Right now, look, I think as a Leicester fan, you probably would have taken 15th in the middle of November. But
if you ended the season, that would set your end up.
Yeah, but I think it's a bigger picture, though, isn't it? It's like
it is. Yeah,
that's just purely a simplistic way of looking at it, rather than all the other pieces.
It papers over the cracks. But as Leicester fans, you got to think in your minds: what do you want? Do you want to play not that attractive football and stay up, or do you want the attractive football and be down in the bottom? Like, with Leicester, you obviously going off your record, Premier League champions only a few years ago, a massive club within the Midlands, but stopping up as a team has just gone down and coming back up to the Premier League. I think that stopping up for you is the most important thing. So I think stay with Cooper. He's doing well so far. I think the performance have obviously not been the best, but stopping up has to be a priority for you. And I think obviously once you stay up, can you plan for next season and maybe say, we want to change that style of football or get another manager in? But I think stay with Cooper for now.
The thing is, the board have got to have a plan, and I just don't know what the plan is. And it proved it in the summer when Enzo left. What's the plan? What are we doing going forward? I think Cooper's it's a cheap appointment, isn't it, for him? Do you know what I mean? I know they've been chasing Graham Potter for a number of years now, and I know they admired Graham Potter after he left Chelsea, didn't they, Charlie? Because what we spoke about when he got the sack, Potter from Chelsea, Leicester come calling straight after, didn't they, for him? And I don't know.
Did he play for Leicester, Potter? I'm sure he did, didn't he?
No, he played for Southampton.
Oh, did he? Okay. And Stoke as well, didn't he? Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
We're just big admirers of him because of the football he plays and that. And obviously, look where he got Brighton. And then he left Brighton, and look how good Brighton are now.
They've
really pushed on as a club.
Oh, yeah, because Brighton always go for like. No,
they've got a plan, though, isn't it? Their planning is brilliant. Yeah, they got their identity. They got how they want to play. And then they employ managers who play that way.
And the managers and players. If they get rid of a Calcedo, they'll get a player in the same ilk as Calcedo. If they lose a manager, they'll get a manager that plays a similar style of football. And this is an ongoing scenario of them, and that's why they are where they are, because
it's the best run club in the Premier League, but comfortably,
100%.
For sure.
Total football, so it's not about attractive football or not. We are playing ugly football and still a defensive mess. I mean, yeah, we've made mistake after mistake defensively, Kev, if I'm honest. Problem is there's no performance defensively, or we are woeful. We've lost our attacking ability. Kev, if you can see where Leicester have been this season, I mean, you say you've watched Nottingham Forest with Chelsea. Could you see that with Steve Cooper at Forest that more teams attack Forest and have more shots against Forest than what Forest did against them? Because I feel that's where we're getting at Leicester. That more teams are scoring goals, and then all of a sudden we go 1-0 down, and then we start to play. And it's like, you can't do that, can you, in any game in the Premier League?
Cooper's Forest teams are hard to play against, though. That's the thing. But I think he had a better team at Nottingham, let's say. I think he had a better team at Nottingham than he has at Leicester, to be fair to you. But I like Cooper at Forest. I think he, towards the back end, he had some bad results, and
Forest fans loved him.
Yeah, Nuno was a better option at that point. And
would you say the Championship manager, realistically?
Cooper, yeah. I think
I agree with you now. Championship manager at best.
Yeah. But as a human, he's a good man. Like he's a local chap, but I feel like he hasn't got a style of football. That's the thing. I think when we played against them, I went to a game 2 years ago, Forest Chelsea. It was a 1-1 draw, and it seemed terrible. It was terrible game, because Forest, it didn't look like if they were sitting back or if they were pressing. There was no style of football, but we were shocking as well. That's the thing. So I think if we come up against that kind of football now, I think would wipe the floor with them, because there was no style of football. And I think we've Leicester. I'm not quite sure if it's the same thing at Leicester. There's no identity, let's say. So I think on Saturday we should be punishing it. To be fair, coming off the back of a 3-0 United loss, I think we should be beating you 100%.
Yeah, I don't think Leicester fans are confident out of this one. Let's be fair.
Yeah. Just being honest, I'm sorry. I'm
say this week.
I'm just being honest. I feel like we need to, following from the Arsenal game now, where we should have won that game. I feel like we need to get back to winning ways, and I feel like with Leicester coming off a bad result, international break, I'm sure we'll be favourites going into that game.
Yeah, like I said though, Steve Cooper could be the nicest bloke going, but his football, it just ain't it. You can say that with many managers. They could be the nicest bloke on the planet, but when the football's there, no, not for me. But let's get on to Leicester Chelsea. I mean, the return of Enzo Maresca and Wesley Fofana, Kitten and Dewsbury Hall. Chilwell, if Chilwell's not gone missing still after Enzo's not been playing him at all.
He won't even travel. He'll be at home. Yeah.
How are you boys feeling ahead of this one? I'm sure you're going to feel confident ahead of this one for sure. Yeah. But talk to me about Keenan Dewsbury, Charlie. Obviously, he's not really got a look in. No. Do you see him going on loan in January to somebody else? I mean, we'd snap your hands off now if you give him his bag. But talk to me about Dewsbury Hall.
Do you know what? It was a weird one, right? I like Dewsbury Hall. Think he's a good player, but it just screamed at me as, why did we sign him? What's the plan with him? I don't think he's a bad player, but you look at that area of the pitch that he plays in. We've got plenty of options in that area, and there are players that are at a better level than him. I can understand personally why he made the move. It's a big step up for him. It's a chance for him to test himself at the top end of the Premier League, play with top quality players, and that's what you want to do as a footballer, be part of play for a big club, and play with some of the best players in the world. But the reality for Dewsbury Hall is that probably this step up to this level is maybe too big for him at the moment.
He's gone from starting every week to being a squad player.
It's quite a adjustment, isn't it?
Yeah, the Dewsbury Hall. I went to the game last year when we beat you 4-2 in the FA Cup.
Yeah. It was unreal.
And I said to my dad, "Who's that number 22, mate?" He was moving like Kaka. He was moving like prime Kaka, brother. The way he travelled with that ball through our middle, I said, "No, we got to sign him up." And I can see why we signed him, but the thing is, we've got that much competition in that area. We've got to find a place for him. And the last game I seen him play was at Newcastle. We played him right wing. So you're just nullifying his talents. Like that guy is a box-to-box midfielder. He's a ball-carrying midfielder. That's what he does best. So I feel like we need to start him.
Some people say he left just to help Leicester out with a PSR situation because no one knew what were happening. We needed to sell a player, a key asset by a certain date.
He was going to go to Brighton,
after it that we're not going to get done by it. Some said Chelsea only went to Chelsea to help Leicester.
Yeah, I mean, Chelsea obviously wanted him because he was about to go to Brighton. And Brighton probably would have been a way better move for him.
Brighton would have been a brilliant move for him.
But obviously, we come in last minute and took that deal. So we obviously wanted him, but I don't know why we wanted him. And it's not because of his quality or whatever. I just that's a congested area of the pitch, and there's a lot of players who are better than him in that area. So I like him. Got no issue with him at all. I just don't understand why. I don't understand why we signed him, and it kind of has a feeling it's only early days, right? And things can change very quickly in football. But it just feels like another Danny Drinkwater signing. It feels like it's more Drinkwater than it is Kante. But you look at what Drinkwater did, right? What Drinkwater did before his move to Chelsea was far more than what Dewsbury Hall did. Now Dewsbury Hall starred in a team in a championship. Drinkwater was unbelievable in a Premier League winning team. So it's levels to what they both did at Leicester in terms of off the back of their move to Chelsea. So I don't know. Like, obviously rejected Brighton because Chelsea's obviously probably is a better move. It's a bigger club and whatnot. But Chelsea obviously wanted him because we snuck in at the last minute from Brighton. But I don't understand what our plan is for him, to be honest.
I always said that with Keenan. If Enzo was going to take any of our players last season from the squad, it'd be Dewsbury Hall. I would have rather Hermanson. And I proved right. And like Ant says, he rejected the move to Brighton, but the club accepted the fee. The club did accept the fee from Brighton for Dewsbury Hall, but then it's down to the player, innit? If there is any other options. And Chelsea obviously came about, worked under Enzo. We were happy under Enzo last season, and he wanted to work under him again. Drinkwater was also in the England squad. I mean, you look at Kante. The only reason we had to sell Kante was because of the thing in his contract. If it weren't for the thing in his contract, we could have made you lot pay well more than what you got for him. I think you paid, was it 32 million for him?
Yeah, it was cheap.
If it weren't in the contract clause, was it? If we didn't have a contract clause, we could have got a fair bit for him, a fair bit more. But Kante was just one of a kind, wasn't he? I know people referred him to a Makalele type of player, but that guy was unreal.
He had three lungs. He literally had three. I remember a game. I went to it. Me and my dad. It was 2-1 to you when Mahrez scored that goal.
Yeah.
When you won the league, I went to that game.
The first touch from Mahrez, he twisted turns with Asbin, bends it in the corner.
Put in, bent in, and then Vardy scored. And I said to my, like I was saying, I think he was number 16 for you at the time, wasn't he?
Kante, 14.
14 or yeah. I said, who is that guy in that midfield? I don't care how much it's going to cost. I've never seen Matic because Matic played that game. And Matic was that player where he had so much time on the ball. Kante didn't even give him a second. Every single time Matic got the ball, bang. I said, like, he's winning so much balls. He literally won that league for you that season. I'm telling you now. If it wasn't for Kante, I don't think
he did everything.
It was that important.
Defense, midfield.
It was the same us. He came to us the following season, and what did we win? The Premier League straight away. Because he Kante, I think, for me personally, no one puts respect to the name because he wasn't really a goal-scoring midfielder.
But what he's achieved in his career,
he's got to be up there with the top 5 best midfielders ever in the Prem. 100%. It's got to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's top player.
Yeah.
What's your initial thoughts then of the game then, lads? I mean, we'll do score prediction and team selection in a bit, but what's your initial thoughts, Kevin, on this one?
Mate, look, it's tricky. Like, there's no easy games in the Premier League, and this one's made a little bit more difficult by the fact first game after an international break, lunchtime kickoff, away from home, Maresca coming back to Leicester. All those factors make it a little bit more difficult, but I think in terms of the way the two teams have been playing, the players that you guys have got missing, and the way that we're playing and the quality that we have, I I don't want to say it'll be a convincing win, but I would be very surprised if we didn't win this game. I think from a Chelsea perspective, we have to feel confident about this one, given how everything's been going.
Yeah, fair point, Kev.
I feel like it's not going to be as easy as what we think it's going to be. But I feel like if we take our chances, there's going to be plenty of our chances for us. I feel it'll be a similar game to West Ham. I feel like you'll probably play a high line, and I think Jackson will get a lot of opportunities to get in behind. So I feel like it'd be probably 3-1 Chelsea, let's say. I'm going with a 3-1 Chelsea.
Okay. This is the type of game where we can't, I say we can't afford to make mistakes, but I know there's another one coming for us. It's every game. Steve Cooper comes out with the same thing after every game. We need to improve. We need to improve. We need to improve. The guy talks a good game. He talks like bloody teams of prime Barcelona, the way he talks in his interviews. And then you look at it on the pitch and you're thinking, yeah, where's Ronaldinho at that point? And bloody Eto or someone like that to bloody get us going. No, this is some call it a free hit, but how many times can you call it a free hit in a season? You can't, can you? You can't always use that excuse of free hit, you know. Chelsea are playing well this season under Enzo. Let's be fair. Some fans thought he'd probably be sacked first this season. It won't work out for him, but it has. He's proved people wrong again, Enzo, and he knows this team inside out, doesn't he? Enzo, with the strengths and the weaknesses of each individual player at the club. Obviously, not the ones that Steve Cooper assigned, but the ones he worked with last season. Yeah, he'll want to come and beat us, innit, Enzo? Let's be fair, but we've got to make it tough. We'd probably need to park bloody 10 buses on the line for us to bloody get anything out of this game. To be fair, and this is not a game I'm confident about. To be fair, I just hope we can keep the bloody score down. If I'm honest, if we can do that, fantastic. But yeah, I think if Chelsea take advantage of our weaknesses in this season, then yeah, it could be a bloody game we probably watch through our fingers, to be fair. Nothing is a free hit. I'm fed up with everyone calling it every game. Raise your standards. This is it. We've got to raise our game against you, innit? You know, we're going to be missing certain players like Fatawu and I think Ayew be missing. I don't think it'd be right for him to play this game with the slight knee injury he's got. But yeah, tough game. Buonanotte is going to be missing as well ahead of this one. And do you see what I mean? We're kind of down to the bare bones, innit, in certain areas where we've only got a couple to select from for each area.
We've literally got Reece James, I think, in it, Charlie. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, there was no update on Lavia in the press conference. So I mean, we still don't know about him. But yeah, at worst, it will be Reece and Lavia missing. Otherwise, everyone else will be available. But at the moment, confirmed out, it's just Reece.
The games are only as hard as you make them, though, in the Premier League. And if you do make them hard for yourself, then you crumble, don't you? But yeah, it's a tough game. I think Leicester have got to go and put a real battle in against Chelsea. But yeah, it's keeping you lot out in it with the quality you guys have got in that midfield. You look at Cole Palmer and the player that he's become this season under Enzo Maresca. He's took it to another level, and the guy scoring goals, you could say, for fun this season, and he's a real good player, isn't he, Charlie? Cole Palmer.
Yeah, no, he's been outstanding for us. He's pretty much carried the team since he come in. He started this season well. He's got 7 goals, 5 assists in 11 games. He's been a little bit quiet in the last few games. I'm not sure how fit he was against Arsenal, to be perfectly honest. But against Liverpool and United, he wasn't at his best. But you know, if anyone can have a few games off, it's him, given what he's contributed. And yeah, you know, he's been exceptional. Yes, other players are stepping up now. But there's still very much a feeling that he is the go-to guy. He's still the main man, and we do still, to a degree, look to him to make things happen. Even though Madueke has contributed this season, Jackson is. Neto's stepped up now over the last few weeks. We have got more players contributing, and I would say that we are less reliant on him. But there is still an overwhelming sense of he is the main man, and we still need him to do stuff to make sure that we do well in games.
Yeah, like Terry says, Leicester have got to fight for every point. Terry, you're right, mate. You are completely right. If we want to stay up this season, we've got to fight for every point. And I think we've conceded 12 or 13 goals down the right-hand side where the right-back position is. So maybe that's where Enzo exploits us, isn't it? Every other team has this season. It's like we played James Justin too far forward, and then teams are hitting us in behind, and then you know what I mean? You're conceding a lot more goals. I mean,
Well,
who plays on the left?
Cucurella and Neto.
Yeah, it'll be Neto.
Neto's a good player, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Neto's been, for me personally, Neto's been our best player this season. And I'm not taking away the fact that Palmer obviously has chipped in with a lot of assists and goals, but Neto has been consistently our best player. He hasn't had a bad game. Palisade, obviously, that would be a good argument, but Neto and Cucurella down at left, if we can exploit that right side of yours, because I'm sure you play 5 at the back formation, didn't you? So with your wing backs.
Yeah, Steve Cooper plays us our bloody Forest play.
Yeah, so there you go them. So Neto and Cucurella, they should be having a field day down at left. And Cucurella, in
we
previous
couldn't even
games,
cope with who's the one who plays for Forest? Is it Alanga and Hudson-Odoi?
Yeah,
we couldn't bloody cope with that pace in behind. Jesus.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of pace in behind. So that could be a area that we definitely look to target. And obviously Maresca will know everything about Leicester there is to know. So
if we show something, that's the thing. If you lose, you know, we've got to go and put in a good performance type of thing, innit? You know, we can accept it. But if you lose and you play really shit, then the fans are gonna be like, yeah, well, that weren't good enough. It's like the Man United game. Even if you lose, you've got to go and put in a performance, aren't you? And I mean, you'd say the same for Chelsea. If you lost and you played steadily well and that, then you'd say, okay, then we lost, fair enough. But then it's how you lose in a game, innit, Kevin, in the Premier League?
Yeah, of course. If you lose battling and with a good performance, the fans will obviously appreciate it. But if there's no battle, no work rate, the fans obviously, they're not stupid. They can see that. And I'm not sure about Leicester, but with Chelsea, the games that we've lost, it looks like we've still turned up. Even against Newcastle, which was, for me, our worst performance of the season, we still fight it to the end. And that's encouraging to see, you know. But it's when the teams are not battling and like you said, working, fighting for every single point, that's where the fans turn against you. And I think with Leicester, you've got a lot to prove to the fans now, and you've got to battle for every point.
That's fine. If you lads got to go?
Yeah, I've got to get back to work.
Okay.
I've got some coaching to do shortly. I've still got. How long was you?
I'm going to be live for another 5-10 minutes. Is that all right?
I've got five.
Yeah, that's fine. If Charlie wants to leave, that's fine.
Yeah, mate, I've got to shoot. Otherwise, I might get in a bit of trouble.
All right, Charlie. No worries, mate.
All right, nice one, guys.
Jack, see you Saturday.
Yeah, Kev, you going on Saturday?
Yeah, I'll see you Saturday if you're going.
You're there, aren't you, mate?
I will be.
Yeah, I'll see you boys there.
Yeah, no worries.
All right,
lads. Cheers. Thanks for having me on, mate.
Later,
catch up soon, boys.
See you later,
bro.
Right, Kev. We're going to talk through the last few subjects. Last 5 at the KP in the league. You guys won 2, drawn 2, and we beat you once. Let's have a look at the last time out. 3-1. I think Patson Daka scored for us in this game. But this was a dreadful game under Brendan Rodgers. Yeah, like you said, Chilwell scored. I think this was a game where bloody fans were getting £20 notes out of the pocket, and as Wesley Fofana were walking around from being sub, they were handing him the money out, saying, "Hey, oh, this is what you left for us, Paul. Here's some more." And
yeah. With Fofana though, come on, you got to be realistic about when a team like Chelsea comes knocking on the door. You know, no offense to Leicester, but Chelsea are a bigger club, so
it's how you leave, though, isn't it? A football club.
Yeah, of course. When you come out to the fans and say I'm staying, and then you leave, it does
sign a 5-year deal.
Does leave a bit of taste in the mouth, but it's football. It's football. There's no loyalty in football. You know this, you know. So when Chelsea came knocking at the door for Foreigner came to us, and he hasn't. What's he done since he's come to us? £70 million. He's probably played a handful of games. There you go, and his performances are getting better this season. I feel like he come on leaps and bounds, but there's still a lot more for us. We need to see more. £70 million for a centre back. We've got to see a lot more.
Yeah, I think Kovacic scored a belter, didn't he, in the 3-1 last time?
Who was that? Sorry,
Kovacic.
Oh, the volley! Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
So the last game we played, though, I went to the one at the bridge, so that was the 4-2.
The FA Cup.
Yeah, and I feel like Leicester,
I
first
thought
half,
we played well till we got sent off.
you were brilliant. And until that sending off, you was the better team. And I actually thought we was going out. And that sending off completely changed the game. And obviously that made us push forward more. And Palmer, what an assist when he flicked the ball around the corner for the 1-2 with Madueke. Madueke scored another brilliant goal as well. So it was a tight game, tight game. So fair play to obviously being a championship team as well, coming to the bridge and putting that performance in. That goes to show about the mentality at Enzo, not being scared to come. So I feel like it's not going to be a complete embarrassment for you Saturday, but I feel like we've got to get the win. So it's important for us now to keep picking the points.
It's that sometimes we feel like we're in games and then we make a mistake and that's it. It's all over for us.
That's like the FA Cup game. It's like the FA Cup game.
Yeah.
Literally, you were the better team, I was saying, and Shrewsbury in that game, what a performance he had. I was saying, like, he was the best player on the pitch in that game.
That was COVID, Lampard manager.
Last
time
we
beat you. I think it was
2021 is the last time he beat us.
Yeah, I think Ndidi scored.
Ndidi,
yeah. Team selection, Kev. I mean, how did Chelsea line up for this one?
So there's been a lot of talk about our goalkeeper Sanchez, and he's cost us, I'd say, 4 points. I feel like we could have had a point against Liverpool, and we could have had 3 points against United, and we could have probably had another 3 points against Arsenal. So he's cost us points through his mistakes. So I feel like Jorgensen has to start. I feel like it's obviously a hard decision for a manager to drop you on number one, but when it's continuously letting us down on a regular basis, something needs to be done. So I feel like Jorgensen, I think it's a Finnish guy, a new signing we made in the summer from Villarreal, has to start. So with Jorgensen in goal, left back Cucurella gives us that natural width. I feel like we've been playing Reece James left back and we've been playing Gusto right back.
Yeah,
doesn't give it a natural width. Obviously being a right-sided player on the left, you're naturally going to want to cut back inside, and it's happening too regularly. I think when Cucurella's played, he likes to overlap and stay wide and make the pitch big. And I think obviously against yourselves, where there's space to get in behind, Cucurella has to start on that left-hand side. So Cucurella left back, it'd be Fofana, Colwell, centre halves. Right back, if James is not available, it'd be Gusto. In the midfield, be Lavia and Casado. If Lavia's fit. If not, it has to be Enzo. And I'm gonna, a bit of for me personally, I'm not quite sure how Chelsea fans feel about this, but I feel like it'd be Nkunku starting in the camp.
Yeah.
So Nkunku needs to start. I feel like he scored a brilliant goal for France in the week. If you've seen the goal, absolutely amazing goal. I feel like he needs a chance. So beating Nkunku in the cam, Palmer's fit, Palmer on the right, and Neto on the left with Jackson up top as a striker.
I think Leicester have Emerson in goal. Back four, Justin, Christensen, right back, left back, Vestergaard, fast, midfield.
Indeed.
Winks and Ndidi. I think El Canouse is the centre attacking mid. Jamie Vardy, if he is fit for this game, I think he'll play. If not, he's obviously going to have to go for Patson Daka or Edward. Mavididi out left, and then he'll probably go with Deco Dovereed if Ayew don't even play at all. So it's a weakened Leicester side. Obviously, we'd have liked Fata with there, but obviously he's out for the rest of the season with an ACL, which is it seems like a most common injury in this time of football, doesn't it, Kev? An ACL injury with players.
Yeah. It's the physicality of football changing, and there's a lot more demands on running. It's all statical now. I think back in the day when I was watching football, it wasn't about how much yards you could run. It was more tactical. Now it's run. So obviously, when you're putting in that amount of running, it's not going to be good on your knees. So maybe the amount of running that the players are doing, it's obviously weakening the joints in the knees, and obviously that's why we see more injuries. So it's unfortunate for them. I
tell you what, instead of Deco Dovereed, I'm going to go Casey McAteer. McAteer outright. Score prediction, Kev. Yeah, Casey McAteer.
Is that Jason McAteer's family relative? Is it?
No
No.
relation.
Oh right, cool.
I know you look at some players and you think, I wonder if they're related to so and so.
I'm just showing my age, mate. I'm showing my age. I'm seeing players make the debuts and now the managers and stuff like that, and I'm seeing players that I used to watch back in the day, and their sons are coming through. So it's one of the things in it. But yeah, man. Score predictions. I'd say 3-1 Chelsea.
3-1.
3-1 Chelsea.
My heart says we can. I tell you what, my heart says we can get a point. But my head, yeah, as long as we keep the score down, I don't know, 2, maybe 3 to you, 0. But then if Vardy plays, he loves a goal against Chelsea, doesn't he? So it's kind of one of them. But I don't know. I don't see where we're going to threaten you, if I'm honest, with the team. If we couldn't threaten a bloody second out of gear Man United side who didn't really get into first gear, what kind of chance he got against Chelsea when we don't really threaten many teams at all this season? Do you know what I mean? Unless Wesley Fofana wants to give us a goal, then and put it in the back of his own net, and that's fantastic. Done with Reece James. When to move to 9 million. 0-0. Get your money on it, Terry. I'll take a 0-0 now. I'll tell you what, we'll go 0-0. Heard it here. 2-0. Heart says 2-1. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with what Dalton says. But no, Kev, thanks for coming on, mate. Do appreciate it.
No worries, thank you.
Let everybody know where they can find you, mate, before I let you go.
Chelsea Fan TV is the channel. I haven't started my own channel yet. It's in the pipeline. Not been doing this presenting stuff for too long. I'm new to the game. But most of my content is on Chelsea Fan TV. So if you like me, hopefully the Leicester fans do. If you want to, yeah. 3-1. I'm not saying it in the background. I just feel like we need the win. So nothing against Leicester. I actually do like Leicester. I'm from Birmingham, so I'm not too far away. I've had a few nights in Leicester. Good city. So yeah, Chelsea Fan TV is where you can find my stuff if you want to have a look and have a follow.
Cheers, Kev.
Nice one.
All the best.
Thank you.
After Saturday, pal.
All the best for you as well. Thank you.
So, mate. That was Kev from Chelsea Fan TV. Big up to Charlie as well from Blue Brothers. Appreciate the lads coming on. What's coming up on the final whistle? So we have got the match day vlog for Chelsea Leicester. Leicester v Chelsea coming up. The return of Enzo Maresca. I'll be there. Come and join me as we watch the game. And it's going to be an interesting one to say the least. But yeah, it's going to be the return of Enzo, and let's see what happens, shall we? But am I confident? No, I'm not. Match day vlog, like I say, come and give me your score predictions out pre-match and that, and we'll have a chat. But what's coming up on the final whistle next week? So we have got Brentford. There'll be a match day vlog for that. Premier League predictions as well. I think that will return next week. But yeah, have a great rest of your day. Whatever you're up to, hit that like button for me if you enjoyed this stream. Subscribe if you haven't already. Please do so. It'll help me out massively. And thank you for watching the match preview. Take care, and I'll see you again soon. Hi all, thank you for watching the final whistle. If you enjoy all our content, please remember to smash a like, share and subscribe to the channel.